Buckle up. It's MKB here. Welcome back to episode 18 of Travel Disasters. My podcast is old enough to vote and buy fireworks. This is crazy. First of all, happy Monday. I hope you are feeling better than I am. I'm a little under the weather. I'm fighting off a cold because someone who shall not be named, Margaret, came into the office last week when they were sick and spread the Black Plague around the company, but it's fine. Nothing a couple of Dayquils and NyQuils can't fix. So I know what you're thinking. What's new with MKB? Well, I'm glad you asked, because coming up in 2 weeks is the next All That Good Stuff show at Lagunitas on Saturday, October 19th at 8 p.m. It's one of the coolest venues in Chicago, and we handpicked some of the funniest comics in Chicago. So get your tickets right now. They're on Eventbrite. Literally, all you have to do is just Google a little something funny October, and it should pop right up. You can also follow All That Good Stuff on Facebook or go to my website, MKB Comedy, for links to get tickets, and I hope to see you there. Thank you, everyone that sent me photos from Oktoberfest in Germany. Those pictures were hilarious. And if you want to see what I look like in a dirndl, make sure to follow Travel Disasters on Instagram and every form of social media. You can't miss us because we're at Travel Disasters on every platform. So if you are loving this podcast, please subscribe, throw me 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and leave a written review. I want to know what you love about this podcast so we can give you more of that. This week's review comes from Marty0917, and he said, "Love this. Makes me feel like less of an idiot because I'm always a mess when I'm traveling." You and me both, Marty. I'm like a frazzled mother of quadruplets when I'm trying to move through the security line. In 2 months, I will be releasing an episode exclusively of listeners' stories. So if you want your 15 minutes of fame, send those to traveldisasterspodacast@gmail.com. I can't wait to read them. And last but not least, tell everyone about this podcast. Tell your neighbors, tell your landlord, tell your buddies on Call of Duty through your little Britney Spears headset. And literally scream it into their ears, because everybody has a travel disaster, and I want them to be able to laugh about it and know that they're not alone. Now for the meat and potatoes. My buddy, fellow comedian, former Uber driver, Marine Corps vet, John McCombs is here. John takes us to Moldova, wherever the hell that is, for his first international comedy tour. He's currently on his second international European comedy tour right now, so I thought it'd be really fun to release this episode while he's overseas. John tells a heroic tale of crushing shows traveling to the Soviet Union, where they are not too fond of Americans, and he's kind of afraid that he might not make it back. So you're not going to want to miss this juicy story, so strap in. It's you and me, baby. We're going on the trip from hell, where every flight is missed, they lose your luggage, and you're in the middle seat between a sumo wrestler and a screaming baby. Don't worry, I'm coming along for the ride. I'm Mary Kate Beck, and this is Travel Disasters. You didn't have a problem.
No.
But it gets in the way. I always say that I would be such a better person if I didn't
The only
drink.
problem I had was I blacked out at the Laugh Factory Christmas party, and I came to in the middle of an argument with a woman I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah, the next memory I have is her looking at me and going, "What did you mean by that?" And
Oh, God.
That's not a good place to regain consciousness.
Oh, yeah. And then you just black back in. You're like, shit.
Yeah.
I blacked into the doghouse.
Oh, yeah. She had a jean jacket, colorful hair, really strong opinions.
Oh, wow.
Not the type of person I want to fight with.
Oh, geez. That's fair. I mean, I black out pretty regularly, but it's lowering my Uber rating, which is starting to get to me. I'm like, I need to make some life. If I get less than 5 stars, it's hard to do.
What are you doing in an Uber?
I don't know. What am I saying is when I'm blacked out?
Screaming Taco Bell
Probably.
again and again.
Yeah.
That would definitely do it for me.
No.
As a former Uber driver, I can definitely relate to having an issue with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm the stereotypical bubbly blonde girl who would just tell you about my love life problems.
God.
You're like, that's a 3. You're getting 3 stars. I fucking hate you. Yeah. That's me, MKB. So I've known you for, a couple years now.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been open micing together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pinpoint like the first time I met you though.
Yeah, that's
I know.
shit. With any comic in this scene, you probably have met them 3 or 4 times before you remember actually meeting them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time. There's this one dude, I won't mention his name, but I forgot his name. And he goes, we've actually met 3 times. And I'm like, you're a white dude, okay? I mean, like...
bearded, glasses, probably.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, you all look the same. Do you know how many of you...
Just like your sound guy.
Do you know how many of you I meet every week?
To be fair, I only learned your name like a week ago, so...
Yeah, you still call me Mary. Yeah. Jesus. It's Mary Kate. But it's like, be more memorable then. I'm sorry I don't remember your name. You look like literally everyone. Everyone calls me like Christina Lundeen.
No, I'm the guy with the bit about Tinder. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, but I do remember I used to go to your mic at the Den a lot. And I feel like that's when we really started getting to know each other because it was like seeing each other on a consistent basis. And now you're just friends. We were at the beach last weekend and we just kind of hang out.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Man, I remember it. Den Theater. Man, that was feels like a lifetime ago. But
I know. So much has changed since then. But
they're booking actual comics.
They are?
Well, Patton Oswalt's going to be there like next weekend.
That's so crazy because I mean, it's a great space, but something about like the energy in that room, it was just like
it's cavernous.
Yeah, I feel like your jokes just got lost in the high ceilings. Like it's a beautiful room, but it's almost not good for comedy.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sorry, Den Theater. I'm not sure. A beautiful venue.
No, I mean, it's just, the high ceilings, the room's very wide. It's really, I mean, when that room is packed, though,
I'm sure it's electric.
It's so much fun. And, like, there's that, obviously, that physical space. Because, like, doing open mics, a lot of people aren't used to working off of an actual stage.
Right.
So the first time they actually get on a stage is very intimidating.
For sure.
There's just that, there's more space to navigate. So I feel like a lot of people are used to trying to fill that space, especially with new comics and whatever.
Yeah, for sure. But it was a fun mic.
Yeah.
Well, for sure. Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show. Before we dive in, I always like to ask people, like, on the travel scale, being like hoarder, buried under boxes and newspapers, never leaving the house, to like, I don't even know, like George Clooney in Up in the Air. God, love him. He was so hot in that movie.
That reference is entirely lost on me.
Shoot, Tom Hanks in Lost in Translation, where you're living in an airport.
Do you have any non-white actors that you can use to make this
I don't know.
reference?
Not that I can think of. No, not like the travel a lot. They're all like basic white boys in those movies.
Someone that travels a lot.
Someone that travels a lot.
Yeah.
Like, where do you kind of fall in that scale?
I fall pretty on the pretty far on the travel a lot side. Obviously I've got a tour coming up in Europe in the fall. So I do get around a lot, and traveling is just, man, I love it, and it's stressful, but I get really antsy, I get stir crazy, and I have to leave sometimes, and it just helps me reset. It gives me something to look forward to. Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an introvert with extroverted tendencies. I guess. Like, I definitely like getting out and being around people and doing stuff, but I like kind of having some physical space and like kind of being able to not disassociate myself, but be able to look outside of what's going on in that moment, so I would definitely classify myself as more of an introvert.
Yeah. Well, I see you as a very like observant person. Yeah. So like, are you very like observant when you travel, and like, I feel like you would just like take it all in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things I love to do when I travel is the big aspect of travel I like is meeting other people. it's cool to go to like the museums and go and see the sites and all that. But honestly, when I travel, like one of the first things I do is I actually use Tinder. And not for the reasons you think.
God.
Not for the reasons you think.
Sure,
I mean, sometimes for the reasons you think.
Sure.
But, but that's a good tool to
like
actually.
I'm just in Miami on Tinder to meet friends, just looking for a pal.
Yeah.
At 1 a.m.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, you like to meet people and
but that's a good way to meet locals.
Yeah.
And they'll show you around, to like the spots that the tourists don't go to or tourists don't know about. And that's where I get to actually meet people who live in the city I'm going to or the country I'm at and get to meet locals because like a lot of people travel and they do like the Americanized travel itinerary.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stick to the travel guides.
It's like I've been to Mexico. No, you've been to Cancun.
Yeah.
You haven't been.
Stayed at a resort that I found on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And I'm that girl. I don't veer off the beaten path very much. I would get kidnapped in a second.
Yeah, you have that look. You have that.
I'm very kidnappable.
Yeah, you have that like high school photo in the 9 o'clock news.
Yeah,
like
on the side of like a milk carton.
Oh yeah, like
for sure.
Some girl who's a bitch to you back in high school be like, we loved her so much. She was such a beautiful
so
soul.
Like, yeah. My parents like, you bullied her relentlessly. So like, tell me about your travel disaster. Where are we? I want to know every detail.
Okay.
Like, what year is it? Where are we?
Okay, starting off, this is 2017 summer.
That's fairly recent.
Yeah. So I just got out of the military, so I had some money.
Where'd you serve? What was your title?
I was in the Marine Corps. I was a captain in public affairs.
There you go. We got a veteran in the house.
There you go.
Are you technically considered a veteran yet?
Yes.
Or okay, there you go. I wasn't sure if you're still serving or like you are scheduled to serve soon. If you're technically considered a
No,
veteran,
you get through your basic training and all that, and you're pretty much I would say
veteran for life.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean,
we were talking about your free stuff being on Veterans Day. Hell yeah!
Oh, I planned my whole day out around Veterans Day, man. I take care of every single free deal. I'm gonna take it. I got my teeth cleaned one Veterans Day for free. Yeah,
that's a good deal.
Hell yeah, it is. Exactly.
Oh my god, that's great.
Like fuck these
you heard it
free
here
grand
first,
slams
folks.
from Denny's. I'm getting my teeth cleaned. I'm getting my oil changed. I'm getting all the shit I should have got during
that's
the year
fucking
done.
Great.
Yeah.
So it's 2017. You're out of the military. You're a free man.
Yeah. So I wanted to really just like decompress for a bit. And I liked traveling in the military, but when you're traveling in the military, it's like you can almost have fun. Like they're like, you could go out in Spain, but you've got to be back by midnight.
Oh,
and it's like nobody really goes out until like 11.
Yeah,
so it's
very tame.
Yeah, it's pretty bullshit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to travel around Europe, so I did this 2-month backpacking tour through Europe
by yourself.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've always liked traveling alone. It's just like when you travel with somebody else, you gotta be you
dead
gotta
weight.
You gotta do this shit that they want to do, and you're like, maybe I don't want to go see the Sistine Chapel or whatever, So that's why I prefer traveling alone. In any case, I met this guy named Tim, and I don't know his last name, which makes it shows you what kind of person he is. Super sketchy. I'm not sure if he's actually a real person.
It's a hieroglyphic.
Well, I met this guy named Tim, older dude. When I was at a hostel in Warsaw, and he was cool. I mean, we hung out. He went to one of my comedy shows, and he mentioned
you were doing comedy in Europe at that time too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, wow, good for you.
Yeah, it was just kind of sparingly, not to the point that I'm doing now. But anyways, he thought it was funny, and he enjoyed it, so we were hanging out. And he mentioned that he ran a hostel in Moldova, and a very specific part of Moldova. And for those of you who don't know, Moldova is the poorest country in Europe.
Oh, wow.
like it's poorer than African countries, which gives you like where people in Nigeria are getting
one's
like
vacationing there. Then that's a terrible place to open a hostel.
Where people are
in
Nigeria are getting like commercials of like for 10 cents a day you could feed this poor Moldovan child.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, so he ran a hostel out there. It's in Eastern Europe, in the southeastern Europe, nearby Ukraine. And it's in this part of the country that's its own breakaway section of Moldova that's not officially recognized by the UN. But
sounds legit.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
They still have like old
like
Soviet
an island
statues
in the middle of the country. Oh my god.
Yeah, they have like Soviet statues like of Lenin and all this shit. And it's pretty neat in that regard because it's like from a historical standpoint.
It's like preserved kind of.
Yeah,
it's
in a different
set in time.
It's in a totally different time.
Yeah.
So he lived out there. He's like the only American who lives out there. And towards the end of my trip, I was like, I haven't, I don't want to go home yet, so I hit him up. It's like, hey man, what could we like make a show? Could we schedule a show in, this town called Tiraspol, which is the capital of that area. It's called Transnistria. And he said, yeah, we can do that. So, and this was actually also my first time ever headlined.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's ambitious of you. You're like, I can headline it. I'm going to create the show. Yeah. I'm going to headline it.
I would have headlined in a country that mostly speaks Russian.
Yeah. It's going to crush. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah. So I fly out there. I fly to the capital of Moldova, which is Chisinau.
Chisinau?
Yeah. He picks me up. And he drives us over the border. And keep in mind, so this is like an occupied territory. So we have to pass checks from not only the Moldovan government, but the Transnistrian government and
the
Russian
dropping.
government. Yes. And on the other side of the border is the Ukrainian government that also has troops there.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I wouldn't feel safe. I know that it's supposed to make you feel safe, but I'm like, this feels terrifying.
Yeah, well, I gave my passport. I was worried because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get this back. Also, I don't know because like their main concern is they believe that I might be a mercenary trying to go out to Eastern Ukraine to fight in that conflict.
Oh, wow.
Because I guess people go through that border to do that. So, yeah, but we got through okay. He speaks Russian, or at least he speaks some Russian in any case. His hostel is basically... I'm the only one there, and it's
I'm
very,
the only guest.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Dude.
Poor guy. He's probably losing money by the day on this place. His little passion project that's just sinking.
No, he does like actual tours with people who want to do vacations that are not, I guess, more traditional vacations. They want to go see like. The old, Soviet style architecture and, monuments and stuff like that. So he showed me around a little bit. And this place, I mean, it's definitely from a different time. And I am the only black person in this country.
Whoa. That's terrifying.
And
did you feel comfortable walking down the street?
Yeah,
or were people just staring at you?
The weird thing about racism is that in areas where the people are just completely homogenous.
Yeah.
And there's no black people, there's no whatever. It's more of a curiosity.
Right. That's why I'm thinking, because I'm when there's people in Asia, they even say if blonde women walk down the street, they want to take pictures with you. So it's yeah. Are people?
I had random women approach me on the street and ask me just hug me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, at least they're nice.
Yeah. No.
There's definitely
there's definitely not any animosity.
Oh, good.
I was a little worried about that, but there's no anger and anything directed towards me. So yeah, I did this show at this cultural center, and so they're used to doing these practicing English, and they'll talk about serious topics. Mm-hmm. So we floated the idea of like, let's start off with like a Q&A, and so the Q&A started, and it was more so them asking me questions. I thought like they were going to ask me questions about like what's they'd like to do comedy or something like that, and they were asking me questions like, what do you think of abortion? And what do you think of gun control?
That's all the dinner table topics.
Yeah, they just every like hot button political topic they brought up. They wanted me to hear my opinion on, and I tried my best to make it funny too.
Yeah. Jeez.
And the only one that kind of I was nervous about was when they asked me, "What do I think of Putin?" And I was like, "Oh, okay,
great guy, love him." You're like, I don't want to get like thrown into a concentration camp.
Well, I told him, well, he looks great shirtless on a horse.
There you go.
And there you go. That did it for him. But for the most part, I tried to go into material, and they understood about half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I feel like they just wouldn't. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah. And I mean, but they were really nice about it, and I just mostly did crowd work at that point.
That's good. You thought on your feet, and that's awesome. I probably would have just been like, okay, that's my time.
Oh no, I was like, I'm gonna do a full hour.
Oh,
this is my chance. I'm finally headlining. So
in the country no one's heard of.
The first time I ever headlined, and did an hour was in front of people who speak Russian.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a great story. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I found out there were other black people in this country, like Nigerians, play for their soccer team or whatever. So people thought I was one of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't play soccer. You're like, why does everyone keep asking me soccer questions?
Well, the next day I come back to the cultural center, and they're having a rap show. And it's all in Russian, and
Russian rap? That sounds terrifying.
Except for the N-word. I was just hearing Russian, the N-word, and then the N-word. And I was like,
that like hurts my soul thinking of the N-word like in a Russian, coming out of a Russian's mouth.
It's almost
in a
like
Russian
they
accent.
don't understand.
Right.
Well, I mean,
they probably are just hearing American rap.
Yeah, and they're just emulating what they hear. So, I mean, in that sense, what am I going to do? Be offended and be like,
you're like, they don't
start
understand.
yelling in a language they don't understand around a bunch of people who are like, what the fuck is this guy's problem?
Did you just have to like swallow it? Like, okay.
Well, yeah, it's just like one of those situations where it's like, yeah, well, shit that's happening, I guess. But the funny thing was, while I was there, the woman there was a reporter there, and literally this was during the interlude, like their intermission or whatever. So the rap artists are standing next to me, and the reporter comes up to me and asks me to rap.
Oh no!
Just like, fuck these guys who actually tried this shit. We want to hear you.
What if you're like knees weak, palms sweaty, he's nervous? Like,
spaghetti. Yeah.
Losing that. Yeah. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that was the first time I went there. It was a good experience. The second time was not as good of an experience.
Oh geez, I'm nervous now. The first time didn't sound like the best experience.
Well, it was just interesting. Yeah. It was fun from like this is a new thing I'm doing.
Yeah. So you went back to do stand-up?
Yes.
Oh my god, you brave man.
I had booked 2 nights, and this was actually in Chisinau, which is in actual Moldova, the capital.
It's recognized.
Yes.
Yes. It has, by the government. Oh my god.
It's a Better Business Bureau accreditation.
Right.
So I go out there, and same guy I'm working with sets me up with some shows, and it's just like a bar. It's just bar shows. I don't know why I flew all the way out here to do essentially
what am I doing
bar
here?
shows. I headlined the bar shows, and I paid so much money.
Yeah. Oh my god! You're like, I could do this in the fucking States.
Yeah. So, so I went out there, and I do the first show. First show's fine. First show goes well. Also, I wanted to add. For those of you who don't know, Chisinau, the capital, is still very much like impoverished. And to give you an idea what it's like, you could go to a corner store, and for 50 cents, they will pour you a shot of vodka and give you a piece of hard candy. Any time of the day, doesn't matter. Just I live in Chisinau. I need this to get through my day.
It's just it's like a cup of coffee.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And also I'm staying in an actual hostel this time. And
an actual hostel that's also recognized by the Better Business Bureau.
The guy who runs, or there's a guy in this hostel in particular who, this guy, he's like some businessman there for like a month, and he's staying in a hostel, and he's just getting blitz drunk in the middle of the day, just like think of like people you see on the red line, like that level of fucked up.
Yes.
You know, just like that.
Oh God, he's a creature.
Yeah. So I go and do these shows. The first one went really well. They speak more English.
Thankfully, yeah.
Yeah, I did an hour the first time. And I'm hanging out at the show, just meeting people, whatever. And these guys come up, and they're just asking questions, about me and everything. I think nothing of it.
Fans.
And yeah. And so my American friend, he starts off very nice, very cordial. He's drunk though, but I mean he's nice and hospitable. And all of a sudden, he just goes cold. He just like shuts off with these guys. Ooh. And it gets to the point where he's like, God, just leave. Dudes, just leave. And so like the two guys walk away, and like, dude, what the fuck? It's like, he's like, John, those guys are KGB.
What does that mean?
Like the Russian equivalent of like the CIA.
Oh,
yeah.
That's terrifying.
And I believe him because he's told me like, he's been imprisoned by them 3 times.
What?
Yeah, because they just want him to leave the country because he's like the only American living in that part of Moldova.
Whoa.
So they would throw him in jail.
What?
And just harass him.
Because they don't want him living there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
And so, he's like, it was just odd that I was like, wow. So on one hand, I'm kind of flattered that the Russian security services came to my show. Like, I was like, the promotional game is working on one end, I guess. So, but that was just odd that they were there. But I guess I have a file at the Kremlin right now.
There you go. You're on a list somewhere. That's amazing.
Yeah. And, but then on the way out while I was leaving the country, I ended up missing my original return flight or something of that regard. I had to fly out of a different place. So I couldn't fly out of Moldova. So I had to fly out of Kiev. Which is in
that's
Ukraine.
a bigger,
yeah. Which I think it's because it's much cheaper or something like that. I had to cross the border from Moldova, which means I had to go back through that part of Moldova that's not recognized by the UN. Ugh. And now I'm going solo on a bus with people, I don't know if they speak any English.
Yeah.
So we hit that border around midnight. And so this guy, this Transnistrian guard, only speaks Russian, going around checking passports.
No.
Everybody has a Moldovan passport. Gets to my American passport. It's all in English. And it's just like looking at it and then like looking at me and looking at it and then looking at me. And he's like, he asked me something in Russian. And I was like, oh,
You're
fuck.
like, I can't.
Like, I am going to get arrested and locked in a jail in the middle of Eastern Europe.
Oh, my God.
Thankfully, one guy on the bus did speak English and Russian, and he's like, he's asking where you're going to, where you're flying to.
Oh.
I was like, dude, I'm flying out of Kiev. Just please
tell him that I'm minding my own business.
I'm good. So they let me through, which is good. I mean, we were at that border for like an hour. Mm-hmm. So I'm tired of shit. Finally get to Kiev, and the fucked up thing is, so I did these 2 shows in Moldova. Like when I started off by saying Moldova is the poorest country in Europe.
Yeah.
Which means nobody will take their money.
Oh.
I did not convert my money that I made off of the show before I left Moldova.
Oh my God, John.
So I was thinking Ukraine's a neighboring country.
Yeah.
Surely they would be able,
I would probably do the same
currency
thing,
exchange. 0 banks would take the money. I have all this
Oh my God.
money
No.
that is worthless. Nobody will take. I've tried multiple banks here in the United States. They're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like this fake currency. It was monopoly money. Oh no.
Yeah. So I basically did those 2 shows for free.
And you flew all the way to fucking Jesus Christ.
To do some free shows.
Oh my God.
And get harassed by the KGB.
Oh my God. And you lived to tell the tale. Oh my God.
Yes, I lived to tell the tale.
Well, I'm glad that you're back. You're going back to Europe soon.
Yes.
When do you leave?
September 23rd.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's soon.
Yeah.
And what cities are you going to be in?
Oh, a lot. I'm doing close to 30 shows.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, I'm starting in like the Baltics, so like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Then I'm doing kind of like a U through Europe. Missing Moldova this time.
I'm going to dodge it. I'm going to avoid it like the plague.
Not going there again. But,
oh my God.
Maybe one day I'll return. I don't know. I got to do it. Like if I'm hitting countries nearby. Ukraine was nice. Ukraine was very
nice.
lovely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find out about your European tour? Like, where can people find you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, john.mccombs.98. I also have a website, johnmccombscomedy.com. You can search me on Facebook, John McCombs Comedy as well. I have a fan page there. I'm around Chicago all the time, and I just hit me up or email me or whatever, and we'll connect.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. This was super fun.
Thanks for having me.